Okay, power cube. So power cube parts. So we're going to build ourselves a power cube right here. So the main piece you need for that power cube is an engine. So this is our 16 horsepower engine. You can come in and maybe zoom in. And so between the engine and your hydraulic power is a hydraulic pump. So this is essentially what's connected one to the other. Here's the coupler. So we'll open that up later. Power cube, hydraulic pump. We're going to have quick connect fittings. One is suction, the larger one, the red one is suction. The other red, smaller one is the output, and that's going to get a male quick coupler. That's where everything's going to plug into the power cube. So then the issue is we got to build a frame around this with a built-in hydraulic tank. Just some of the other parts, battery cables, hose clamps. We're going to use 3/4 and 1-inch hose. Here's the fan. Fan looks like this. This is what goes on the cooler. And the way you mount it is you've got these mounting things. I think you just got to read the instructions on this. But there's 4 holes in here, and these 4 holes mount directly to the cooler. Now the cooler, where is that? I don't see it here. It's another box. And then the fan cooler is mounted to expanded metal mesh, and that mounts onto the frame. So that's all to be said right now, but the task right now is, since this is experimental, not experimental, but we don't have the explicit CAD design for this, we're going to have to figure out what exactly is the size of the frame to embody the power cube with a fan right next to it. The consideration you have to take here is orientation. I mean, it's all about orientation. How do you fit all the components together, which we didn't show the hydraulic, the return line filter, which is over in the other supply. But the only consideration here is the pump. You need to access the mounting for basically the quick connect plug-in. So if you have, say you have your pump like this, probably want to put the quick connect coupler like maybe to the top, so you can just plug right into it, not like on the bottom, since you can hardly get to that. So that's one orientation item. The other part is, how do you start it? We got a pull start here. Which, if you turn on the fuel and turn the power on, oops. Well, it's almost starting. Here we go. Well, that's the pull start. Notice that. So, however we design the frame, we're going to have to make sure the pull start is accessible and not like, you want to pull it out that way. Take a look at the engine. We actually can't pull it this way. We got to pull it this way. So make sure, however we put it, that's perhaps the main consideration here. You have to have, like say, the choke and throttle accessible, pull start accessible, on-off button accessible. And as I mentioned about the pump, make sure the fitting is in a place where you can plug in something to it. And the suction line, of course, has to be in such a position that you can make a connection to the hydraulic tank. Here's the little oil hole right on the side here, and that also has to be accessible. It can't be like behind something that you can't put oil into it. So just basic, very basic logistical considerations, that all the pieces have to be accessible and they have to fit together. So that's the design problem that we will solve today. And of course you have to have the top of the tank accessible. This is the fuel tank right on top here. And that's about all. So thank you. So that's kind of